share all that. All right, I see Councilmember Murillo has joined us.
Yes, I joined at a good part of talking about chilies and not sharing, and I probably agree with that.
Well, we were saying Alice isn't going to share their first Palisade peaches of the season, except I'm going to steal one. But in general, not sharing their first Palisade peaches of the season. But all right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Oh, I just noticed that we don't have Laura. Is Laura going to join us? She's not going to join us today. Okay.
No, she asked me to sit in. So
okay,
I'll be glad to share or get questions to her as needed.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. All right, so I'll call the meeting to order for the Public Relations, Communications, Tourism, Libraries, Boards and Commissions, and Citizens Groups Policy Committee for Wednesday, July 26, 2023. My name is Alison Coombs. I am the council member representing Ward 5 and the chair of this committee. We also have our vice chair, Councilmember Medina. You want to introduce yourself? Oh, we cannot hear you.
I'll get back to you.
Now we can hear you. Oh, now we can't. Are you muted? Unmute. I heard you for a minute.
All right.
There we go.
All right. Yes, Councilmember Medina from Ward 3.
And we have our other member of the committee, Councilmember Murillo. You want to introduce yourself?
Everyone, Crystal Murillo, council member for Ward 1.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We first have the approval of our minutes for the May 24th meeting. Are there any changes to the minutes? All right, seeing none, those will stand approved as written. Are there any announcements from folks on the call? And that can be community events, any information that you would like to share for the good of everyone. So Kim?
Thank you. Just a reminder, more information will be coming out, but our lovely Global Fest event takes place on Saturday, August 19th. This year at the Municipal Center on the Great Lawn. I have heard that there are 18 food vendors, drink vendors, so a nice increase in that, and hopefully some additional other vendors, performers, and such. So should be really terrific event. Help get the word out, please.
Yes, thank you so much, Kim. And absolutely, that's a wonderful event every year. So hopefully everyone can attend. Midori, do we have anything from the libraries?
Yes, I've got a couple of things to share. We have started our Fox interlude session. It officially kicks off in July. And we have Adrian Lee and Marco Robinson performing on July 29th and July 30th at the Fox. I think this is really fun. The little blurb says, "Why do musical theater villains seem to have the best songs?" Denver's darling music theater duo, Adrian Lee and Marco Robinson, shed their wholesome image for a deep dive into the ever-so-juicy songs made famous by your favorite antagonists. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. July 29th at 7:30, and then the matinee on July 30th at 2 p.m.
All right, thank you so much for that. Does anybody else have announcements? Tristan, is there anything from the clerk's office election related that you needed to share?
Election related, we just finished going through all the petition packets, and so we're getting ready to have new candidates get their candidate packets in early August, and then right now the contest period is starting right now for the petition packets, and people can call in and schedule appointments to view the petition packets as well, starting today for the next 20 days.
Great, thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Hopefully folks can access that information. So thank you, very helpful. And Natasha, I see your hand up.
We have Aurora Pride on August 5th out at the reservoir. So if you need more information on that, let me know.
Yes, thank you. And there is an early entry option for folks that want to kind of come early and have a little picnic rather than coming for the later in the day. So definitely, if you have any information, feel free to reach out to Natasha or myself. And there is also an Aurora Pride website and Facebook page that also have that information and parking information. So admission is free, parking you have to pay for. So please do join us. I know there's going to be family-friendly activities in addition to the traditional activities. So no, thank you, baby. So you can find that information on the website. There are no consent or any further announcements. No, thank you. All right, we have no consent items today. So we will go to our new business. The first item is the Veteran Affairs Commission Annual Report with Ralph Charlotte.
Can I switch? I got to get the front door. It just rang. Can somebody else
Yeah,
go? I'm
sure.
so
Why don't we
sorry.
go ahead and have the Human Relations Commission go ahead and go first, and that'll be Amy Wiles.
Sure, absolutely. 1 second. Okay. Oh. We lost it. Okay, there we go. There's our, now I can see it. Can everybody see our presentation?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let her fix it and then we'll get started.
We can just do it like this. Just let me know whenever you want the next slide.
Okay, perfect. So good afternoon. My name is Amy Wiles and I'm the current chair of the city's Human Relations Commission. And then I also serve on the Community Advisory Council for the consent decree. Next slide. So this slide shows a brief overview of our commission. We have a total of 12 voting and 3 non-voting commissioners, including 1 youth member, which we're actively looking to fill. It's always a really hard position to fill for us, trying to get, youth involved. So if anybody has any suggestions for a youth member, we would love to hear about it. We definitely want to get them more engaged with our commission, but for right now, that does remain open. As of June, we had 3 vacancies, but 1 person was recently sent to council to vote on, and then we have another interview tomorrow. So we're getting closer and closer to being full. Our purpose is to promote mutual respect and understanding between all of our residents and to offer educational information by participating in and organizing citywide events. We also made it a goal this year to really focus our commission to engage with local nonprofits to determine who might be a good partner that we could partner with in terms of financial or volunteer support. And this has slowly helped to build our network of partners while providing our commissioners with opportunities to learn more about the city and the organizations that exist within it. Next slide, please. So these were our sponsorships so far for this year, for 2023. So we did contribute towards the Holocaust Anti-Hate Summit. We provided food for our recent speaker, Ossie Sladek, who came and spoke at City Council chambers a short time ago. And then we've also started to build a really strong partnership with Iron Sharp Community Foundation. Iron Sharp is a great organization that helps to support our McKinney-Vento students here, both at APS and at Cherry Creek schools. So we've been really excited to kind of work with them and not only provide some financial assistance for their soccer event, but then also serve as volunteers. So that's been a great opportunity. Next slide, please. As we look back to last year, we wanted to highlight some of the events that we participated in. In June of 2022, we shared a table with the DEI office at the Anschutz campus and attended the Juneteenth event. My favorite table was the Little Sisters Treat table. I do have a sweet tooth. They have amazing baked goods, so make sure if you need some sweet treats in the future that you look for them. They do have a Facebook page, and again, their treats were amazing. I really enjoyed getting to meet them, but we also got to meet some other great community members and kind of inform them about our commission. Next slide, please. And then in August of 2022, we sponsored a table again with the DEI office and were able to engage with hundreds of our LGBTQIA community members. It's a great day to build relationships within the community and get the word out about our commission. We always really have some great conversations when we're out in community events, able to kind of talk about what we do and how we support the community and how hopefully people can get involved. So Pride is always a great event. I will be missing it this year because I'll be out of the country, but highly encourage people to attend. It's such an amazing event filled with really great people. Next slide, please. And then our largest project of 2022 was our Never Walk Alone event. We partnered with Aurora Mental Health and created a month-long collection drive to help support our unhoused and low-income residents. We were able to collect hundreds of pairs of socks, backpacks, hygiene items, warm clothing, and snacks. And we set up our community event at City Park and were able to engage with and provided items to hundreds of residents. Volunteers for the event included our own commissioners and a few engaged Aurora citizens who came out to help with the event. Next slide, please. Here's some just additional pictures of some of the people that attended our event. We also had obviously somebody with great artistic ability create some really great signs for us, served coffee, and just sort of engaged and talked with the community. So it was a really successful event. And I think we learned a lot for future drives like this. So as we look to the future, it was definitely a lot of lessons learned that presented themselves to us for this event. Next slide, please. In January of 2023, we sponsored, along with the DEI office, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Rodeo and participated in community projects alongside Iron Sharp Community and our own Aurora Police Department. We were able to build hundreds of backpacks for our McKinney-Vento students. The backpacks included food and hygiene products. We also wrote notes of affirmation to the recipients of the backpacks. And all in all, it was a great day to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King's mission and also build relationships within the community and again, get the word out about what our commission does and how we can support our community partners. Next slide, please. So for our 2023 strategic goals, we have a few. Our first goal is to continue to build relationships in the community and partnerships again with our local organization to help further our mission and goals. Some key events we're looking at are a diversity reading hour in partnership with Stanley Marketplace and Tattered Cover. That was an initiative that kind of got put on the back burner for right now, but it's definitely something that the majority of our commission is incredibly passionate about and would like to see move forward. We also are looking at a care closet initiative with APS to help provide year-round support to our students, especially those McKinney-Vento students, and any student that might show up to school and need, a hairbrush or a toothbrush or, need a healthy snack or breakfast. We want to be able to support our teachers in that. We're also looking at a Know Your Rights event to ensure our citizens are aware of their rights and responsibilities when interacting with APD. We're in the process of vetting out a few different opportunities, one with the ACLU and one with a more locally based organization. So the next HRC meeting, we'll be talking about which might be a better fit and then getting that scheduled so that we can move forward and have that offered to the community. And then we're continuing to build our relationship with Iron Sharp and their efforts within the community, and then also participating in key city events. We did ride with the Aurora Fire Department in the Denver Pride Parade this year. We will be at Global Fest and of course at Aurora Pride. So we, of course, encourage and welcome City Council participation and other commissions in any of our events and outreaches, and look forward to ongoing success in 2023 and 2024. Does anybody have any questions?
Council members Medina and Murillo. Councilmember Medina first. Any questions from you?
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Murillo.
Thanks, Councilmember Coombs. No, this is great. I'm excited to hear how active y'all have been and your assessment of, value add and needs of the community and how you might be able to support in organizing that. I'm just really happy to hear those updates. So no questions, but lots of kudos from me to you all.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think the goals look incredible and definitely appreciate the work that you all are doing in the community. I guess my only question is there anything that we could do to be helpful in recruiting and filling the youth position? Because it does seem like you guys are working on things that support our youth and probably could expand that if you had that youth voice within the commission.
Yeah, agreed. We would love to have a youth member. I think it's just hard. We try to use our, networks to get the word out to say that there's an opening. So I guess if anybody on the call or any council members also could do that and just direct any interested youth to us, we would love to meet with them and see if they would like to join our commission.
Great. And what would be the best contact if someone was interested? Because I feel like when I just send people to the boards and commissions page, that's not always very effective at then getting people to follow through.
We also have a Facebook page. So if they're on social media, we do have a Facebook page that they could mention or that they could message. And then also there is a email address out on the city page as well. So they could send an email and reach out to us directly. They're also welcome if anybody would just like to come to any of our commission meetings. Currently they're hybrid. So they could always jump in and join either at the rec center with us in person or on a call as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, I will
They can
grab
always
that
contact
information.
me too.
Okay, great. I will grab the information off the website and the Facebook. I'll kind of just throw that together and
I could
share
send it over to you as well, no problem.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Perfect, thank you.
What's the age group for a youth member?
So if I remember right, they have to be, I believe it's 16 or 17. So it's kind of a weird, it's like older youth. It's not like a 12, 13, 14-year-old student. Actually, I believe it's 17, but I will double check and let you know.
Would it be helpful to you all if we were to change the requirement to make the youth age range a little bit more broad?
I do think if we had the opportunity to maybe get in with some of the like 14, 15-year-old students, it might open us up a little bit. I don't know, obviously, why the current guidelines are the way they are, if there's a specific reason. But I do think I feel like students, when you get to like 17, they're starting to think about college and going away and kind of all of those things. And so getting them to commit to something probably is a little bit harder versus if we could get somebody a little bit younger, they might just grow with us. And then, by the time they've served their 2 or 3 year term, they're ready for college. And then, we could get somebody again new that's maybe 14 and then move along the process as well.
Well, and I wonder too, if we kind of expanded it out the other way to like maybe 19 or 20, if that would also help if there are young people who didn't move away for college but are interested in being engaged with the city. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
Okay. Let's definitely touch base then. That shouldn't be a difficult ordinance change to make. And I think sounds like it would be beneficial to you all.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you. Any further questions or comments for Amy? All right, seeing none, we will thank you so much for time and for sharing with us. And with that, we will move on to the Veterans Affairs Commission Annual Report with Ralph Charlotte.
Thanks. The presentation, yep, you've got the latest version. Sounds great. Thank you very much for giving me a few minutes. Go ahead, next slide. We're going to cover these four things in our next few slides. So next, you already know we're one of the 31 boards and commissions. We have 12 members. We're supposed to have 12 members, 11 voting, 1 alternate. We have 3 vacancies as of a couple of days ago when council passed a recommendation to appoint our 9th member. We were down to 8, which is, I won't say an all-time low, but pretty darn close. Our meetings are on the second Thursday of the month from 6 p.m. to 7:30, and we do face-to-face meetings once a quarter. And then we have virtual meetings on the off months. And our mission is to advise City Council on veteran-related programs, quality of life issues, that sort of thing. And next. This is the group that's currently on the commission, including our newest member. I'm on my 2nd term. This is my 3rd year as the chairperson. Jeremy Lemon is our vice chair, his 3rd year, and his 2nd term as well. Let's see, Cynthia is on her 2nd or 3rd term, and Mike Gorn at the bottom is brand new, and Jeremy Campbell is our active duty member. We are still looking for other folks, as I've already sort of implied. Because of the number of people that we have, and because we were down to 8 people, we put a bunch of things on hold, and I'll talk about those here next. Go ahead, thanks. Our focus in 2023 was to outreach to veteran organizations, and we had a really outstanding commissioner named Amy Hawthorne, who has left the area, who put together a really effective program for finding them and talking to them, and it was just great. A couple other commissioners were helping her with that, but their time is much more limited. She was a little more flexible because of her part-time work. Earlier in the year, late last year, as we were in the council chambers picking up one of the many proclamations that we have been promoting, one of our long-term members who's been on the commission probably for 10 or 20 years in different roles, noticed that the POW MI flags were missing from council chambers. And that got us stirred up a little bit, and we went back and found that there was long ago a commitment to have those flags in council chambers and elsewhere in council, in city buildings, and also on flagpoles. And so that has been corrected in council chambers, and is also now starting to get back where it belongs. So we're very grateful for the staff who's helped make that happen. During Veterans Day this year, the month of November and December, along the 2nd floor balcony that overlooks the Great Hall, we are planning to have a veterans art display in collaboration with the VA Medical Center and one of their programs. So we're not sure exactly what that's going to include, but we hope it will include more than just artwork, maybe some sculptures and things like that. We're working with city staff to be sure that that gets done well and that we don't cause any problems for anybody. We have been trying to hold a number of events to hear from veterans about their issues who live in the city. And what we had come to with the mayor's agreement was a town hall meeting in the fall. Unfortunately, with the lack of commissioners and the commitments the commissioners who we already have, that's going to probably get postponed even further, simply because of the logistics and the planning that has to go into it. For the last 2 years, 2022 and 2023, we have submitted proclamations for a variety of different veteran-oriented days: Memorial Day, Veterans Day, POW MIA Day, Armed Forces Day, and those have been passed and signed, and we are grateful for that. We started this year trying to monitor legislation in the state legislature to see if there's anything going on that might be helpful to veterans in Aurora, and then we would make recommendations to the city staff about that. I've met with legislative liaison people, and they've explained how they would like to do business. We've not yet found anything that fits that bill, but we're working on it. These are a list of speakers. Last year, 2022, we were focused on homelessness, and the Metropolitan District Homeless Initiative, led by Dr. Jamie Reif, she came in and talked to us about what they are doing. We had a number of different people from the city's Housing and Urban Affairs come in and talk to us about different things they were doing. We had the director of the Department of Defense POW MIA agency come in and talk with us virtually on her way to Hawaii. And that was a very enlightening presentation. They're the folks who go out in the middle of nowhere to find remains and then bring them back so that they can get a proper burial. Kate Hatton, who has been the executive director of the Peak Network, and the Peak Network has gone through a few changes. They are a Colorado Springs-based organization who are doing referrals for veteran issues of all kinds. They have been in existence for a couple of decades. They are expanding north and moving into the Denver area slowly so that they keep the quality of what their network looks like. I've been asked to be on their board of directors. We're having conversations about that. And so if we can get them in place in the Denver area, then our veterans who live in this metropolitan area will have a really great resource when they need something. They'll be able to call a number and get referred to the proper resources. There was a community project group who came in and talked to us about all the different things that they're doing to support veterans in the Aurora and Denver metropolitan area, and they're just a large service organization. One of our commissioners, Dwayne Davis, is now an employee of an organization called Cross Purpose. They do things around not just veterans, but they do things around people who are homeless and need a new start, and they work with them all the way through permanent employment. Soldiers Angels is a really great organization, and Chris Clark is the local representative. They're national, and they do all kinds of things, including during COVID, they partnered with the city, I'm told, to do food in the parking lots, handing out food and water in parking lots to people that needed it. This last meeting that we just had, Dwayne Francis, who is a senior person in a nonprofit that deals with veteran suicide, and he's on the governor's commission. He's also in a national organization, and he came in and talked to us this month about suicide. And then Mayor Kaufman was at our meeting in June, and I unfortunately wasn't able to attend, but I'm told that went pretty well. Next, I can't turn the slide. Next, last slide I have has to do with our council support. We really appreciate the council members supporting us. We look forward to hopefully you coming to our meetings. Again, especially the virtual ones should be easy for you to do. The one issue that we do have that I'm told the city clerk's office has said they're going to take care of is a policy about term limits for commissioners. And various commissions and boards have a number of terms you can serve before you have to take a break. That's not that having to take a break is not the issue. The issue is that the way the policy is currently written, it does not allow a commissioner to serve an additional term beyond the limit even if there's vacancies and there's nobody in line, like the circumstance we are in today. I was assured by the city clerk herself that this would be taken care of, but I want to put it back on the agenda because it's extremely important to us to have the ability to keep commissioners who are interested in staying with us. And the last thing is, I just want to once again say thank you so much for the liaison staff in HR who have been working with us for the last couple of years, who've just done a fabulous, fabulous job. I can't say enough about Alicia Romero and the work she's done for us, and Ryan Lance, as well as the director of HR, who attends all of our meetings and just have been fabulous supporters in helping us get things done. I'm done. Got any questions?
Thank you so much, Ralph. Do we have any questions? Councilmember Medina? Oh, I think you're muted.
Still muted.
Good.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Yeah, thank you, Ralph, for all the information. And I know I've been to one of your meetings too, and I'd like to kind of continue to come to some of those. Yeah, we can certainly look at some of that wording as far as, the term limits and see what we can do to kind of rectify that, since we have people that are kind of dedicated to kind of staying on the commission. I know that the reasons behind all of that, but, there could be some ways that we can mitigate that.
Thanks.
And I thought that the clerk had already brought that to us, so I'll check with her on the status, but I thought she had already brought us that term limits issue and that we had settled that. So
Okay.
I'll check back in with her and see where we're at. And if it is not settled, if I'm mistaken, then we certainly will make sure we get that settled.
Well, if it is settled, it'd be great to hear.
Oh, Tristan, it looks like has his hand raised. Tristan?
Hi, so we did get everything put together, and it's being held up by management currently.
Oh.
They want to discuss it further and fine tune it with the city attorney's office. That's why it's been held up, but it is completed, so we're just waiting for approval from them.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for clarifying that. And
You're
let me
welcome.
know if there's anything we need to do as the committee that that advises on boards and commissions. If there's anything we need to do in terms of discussing that with management, because we do want folks to be able to get that addressed.
No, most definitely. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, so anything else? Oh, Councilmember Medina, that was all your questions. Councilmember Murillo?
I do not have any questions. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you, Ralph. I'm glad that we got that information about the term limits, because certainly we want you all to be able to stagger the ending of terms as needed, as well as, have folks continue serving that are committed if there's not someone else that wants to step in and provide that support. We certainly appreciate all of your work on the commission, and really many times having it be a full commission, which is a feat. So
One time
was
that
it just
anybody,
one time?
one time for 1 month that anybody currently on the commission can remember. And Cynthia Francis goes back to, I don't know, probably 2016 when she started. She doesn't ever remember the commission having all 12 members. And we
I
had it
thought you-
for 1 month.
Okay, I thought you had it
We did.
during more than one of your
No,
reports. But,
just 1
okay.
month, and that was just 3 months ago. And right at the moment we got our 12th commissioner, one of the ones said, "I'm moving."
I suppose the moving
So,
is an issue, certainly for the active duty folks as well as for some of the other commissioners. So
one of the commissioners is leaving the area because of the threat of fracking.
okay, well, I would definitely be happy to talk to folks about that.
I'm staying out of it.
But right, you do not have to talk to me, but I'm happy to talk to folks about that, should they have any questions.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, and I think that's it for me, other than I do need to make sure I get to your meetings. Definitely
Thanks.
appreciate all the work that you all do. So,
August 10th is our next meeting and it's virtual.
okay. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much
Thank you.
for joining us, and we will look forward to hearing from you again soon. And with that, I think we have the Cultural Affairs Commission. My agenda seems to have been thrown somewhere by Ellis. But Cultural Affairs Commission presentation with Tony Ellis de Jesus.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here today. I am the chair of the Cultural Affairs Commission, and let's move to our first slide. The purpose of the commission is to provide ongoing planning, assistance, and support for the enhancement and development of cultural arts activities within the city, and to stimulate community involvement in those activities. As you see towards the right of the slide, you see our current commission members. Our members are multi-generational. And having folks who serve on other boards and commissions keeps us connected and updated. You see two members there, Matt, who also serves on the board for the Fox Arts Center, and Brittany, who does double duty. She's part of our commission, but she also serves on the Commission of Art and Public Places. Next slide, please. And speaking of connectivity, the Cultural Services Division includes not only the Fox and Arts and Public Places, but also includes cultural arts education. And under that, you have Aurora Dance Arts, Bicentennial Arts Center, and other cultural programming, and also the Aurora Museum of Historic Sites. Next, please. Now, this slide is a quick breakdown of the community impact of these cultural services. And we're excited to report that in 2022, we had over 100,000 participants. For example, you see there the Aurora Fox Center, and that includes 5 shows per season. It involves 2 performance spaces. One is a 240-seat main stage, and also there is a 70-seat box studio. Donations are about 40,000, total attendance about 7,000, and total tickets sold about 130,000. Moving towards the middle under arts education, 826 classes offered with a little over 40,000 participants, and we're excited to report that that's an increase of 25% over 2021. The classes, it shows pandemic recovery, not only that, but a lot of interest in those arts education classes. Brings in revenue of approximately 300,000, and the arts education outreach involves a little over 7,000 participants. The Aurora Dance Arts, that included 11 performances and or recitals, about 3,000 participants, and about 50,000 in revenue. Moving over to art and public places, we had 356 public artworks enjoyed by thousands, including both residents of Aurora and visitors, $4.5 million in value, 15 artworks installed in 2022, 15 artworks cleaned and restored, and 15 art exhibits at 3 libraries experienced by more than 40,000 people. Also, too, I'd like to add that the artists are from diverse backgrounds and communities. Towards the bottom, we have the Aurora History Museum and Historic Sites, about 50 exhibits at 9 locations, a little over 600 participating in those education programs. Once again, an indication that those classes are popular. 2 historic districts. It also covers a little over 10,000 museum visitors, 30 historic landmarks, and 2 cultural heritage sites. And that's like a brief overview of the.
And if I can just interrupt for 1 second, it's
Yes.
actually going to be longer than 1 second, but I wanted to let everybody know that This is the first time we've put together a community impact one-sheeter infographic for cultural services. And we wanted to do this just to show everybody that we raise hundreds of thousands of dollars through these programs. We have over 100,000 people that are connecting with all of these different parts and pieces. So I think, part of the feedback I've heard in the past is like, people don't know that we work with so many people in the community, and that arts education and just the arts in general, whether it's public art or theater, these are really big programs in the community that raise a lot of money and attract a lot of attendance. Sorry, Tone, I just wanted to say, and we had several hours of staff time that went into making this one sheeter, including with our great partners in the communications department. So this was a huge endeavor to get this community impact infographic together for everyone. And I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot about our impact. Sorry, Tone, keep going.
That's okay. Thank you so much for that addition. Next slide, please. And now we're going to go through our process for the Northwest Aurora Arts Grant. Now, this grant is made to promote arts and cultural activities in the ACAD, the Arts District area in Colfax. And the grants are awarded to art and cultural organizations who represent and serve diverse communities. They also range from experienced organizations to organizations who are in their foundation stage. Um, of course, you can see that there's been an increase in funding for this grant, and we are very grateful for that because it allows us to award grants to more qualified organizations, increasing the diversity of the offerings. And of course, this is supported by the Aurora Urban Renewal Authority. This is just a brief bulleted overview of our typical process. During the summer, we view and update our application and guidelines. And then towards the fall, September, applications are made available to people and organizations who are interested in applying. We have implemented, starting with 2022, we've implemented online workshops to help some of these organizations through our grant process. And to answer questions that they may have about our grant process. And that is actually overseen by a commissioner who knows a lot about grants and applying for grants and et cetera. Applications are due late that year in November 2022. Reviewed all applications in December. Our panel presentations for the applicants were in January of 2023. Final awards determined at the February 2023 meeting that we had, and disbursements in spring 2023 following contract completions. Afterwards, we do receive updates from these organizations who have been awarded grants. They email us about the latest outreach that they have or shows, and we also reach out to them via surveys to get input from them that way. Next slide, please. All right, so $50,000 in awards have been given to 17 organizations. Some of them you recognize. Roshni, for example, Vintage Theater has been around for a while, as well as Aurora Symphony Orchestra, but also newer organizations like Shakespeare in the Wild, and also believe Black Parents United is a relatively new organization. Next slide, please. So how do what we do work in partnership with the city's overall goals? Let me get to that slide. It's like so I can read the information down below there. One is to promote Aurora's diverse neighborhoods as a key reason to live or visit Aurora. Of course, generations young and old love to learn about new experiences and new cultures. Number two, use diverse cultural resources in the arts in urban districts and other place types to create destinations. Place types like the arts district I just spoke of can be a state destination for folks looking to engage with a diverse offering of arts and culture activities. Number 3, create safe and welcoming public spaces throughout the city that are designed to increase communication and understanding and reduce conflict among cultures. In other words, melting pot. Melting pot is a wealth to any city, community, and good news is Aurora already has it. We already have a melting pot, and we are currently finding ways to develop and create that community among folks and bring in people far and wide. Number 4, embrace and promote multiculturalism in education, communication, celebration, and commerce. And number 5, further strengthen Aurora's reputation as an international city that recognizes the value and contributions of immigrants and refugees and supports opportunities for these communities to thrive. Next slide, please. We are currently working on and putting the final touches on our next cultural arts plan, the Arts Ahead Arts Plan for 2023-2026. The survey, we implemented a survey earlier this year, along with public sessions to get input from our community members on how they would like to see arts and culture activities grow in our community. So first, we hired a contractor from Purpose Aligned Consulting and started the process late last year. Those surveys were made and implemented and made available to the public in January and February earlier this year. We also had community inputs sessions that I spoke of. Those were at the Fox Theater in January and Talents Reach Library in February. In the Cultural Affairs Commission Arts Plan Retreat, February 4th, we reviewed what Purpose Aligned had discovered through these different types of community engagements. And the Cultural Service Staff Arts Plan Retreat, the staff also had the retreat in March. And of course, it includes our presentation here today. But in doing the plan here, we hope to take the community input and involve it in a cultural arts plan that will expand cultural offerings, not only to the Aurora Arts District, but citywide. Next slide, please.
And we're actually gonna present it next month, Tone.
Yes.
So staff will present it to this committee, the final plan draft next month.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. And also thank you for all that you do, from city leadership to municipal employees to volunteers like myself. As they say, it takes a village, and we all definitely have the goal of making sure Aurora is as big and best as it can be and reach its full potential. Any questions?
All right. Thank you so much for your presentation. Councilmember Medina, do you have any questions?
Nothing specific. I have to get out to one of your shows. Need to get out there, just trying to find time. But yeah, I mean, I go to a lot of events. I just came back from vacation at a small town in Creed that has a repertory theater there. We saw 3 plays there. So I know the importance of the arts there in smaller communities too, and they help to keep, people employed, but also helps, tell a story of a community as well. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Councilmember Murillo?
Thank you for the presentation. I don't have any questions, but I'm excited to see, some of the strategic planning, and it's going to help shape the direction of what goes on in the district. And, similarly, have attended a couple shows and would love to continue to do so. I really appreciate when I get invites from y'all, and would love to see y'all come to a town hall, if there's ever an opportunity to continue to share, and that allows me to help invest in your leadership development and presenting at a town hall or otherwise. I hope you'll reach out and let me know.
Well, thank you so much.
All right, and thank you, Tone. Apologies for mispronouncing your name at the beginning of the meeting or the beginning of the presentation.
It's not a problem. Thank you.
But I guess my question, and maybe this is more of a question for when we get the actual cultural affairs plan, is, as we're looking as a city and as a council at like how we're investing in the city, in the cultural arts. There's a lot of areas around the Colfax Arts District that are divested from, vacant, etc. Like, are there ways that we can look at how we plan as a city to kind of improve that area? Oh, maybe I need to talk, not eat. From the perspective of kind of promoting the arts, but also just creating that environment to help you all do better. And if there's areas other than the Colfax corridor that you would like to talk about, I just want, as we're planning economic development, buildings, things like that, what can we do to support cultural arts within the city?
Well, it would be more performance spaces. Many of the applicants for the grant, which is focused on bringing activity to the ACAT area, that is an obstacle, a challenge, I should say, is performance based. We do have the People's Building. It's a wonderful building. It's always booked though. If you look at the schedule at any given time, it's just weeks and weeks, which is good. It's a great problem to have. It's a great challenge to have. But it does create a challenge when you're bringing in, because not only are we receiving applications from organizations that are in Aurora, but organizations from outside the city as well. And so having more performance spaces to choose from will allow us to definitely bring in more folks that who want to provide arts and entertainment in that area.
That's extremely helpful. We've had a lot of conversations about doing a larger venue somewhere within the city, but I don't think we really have, as a council, thought about additional performance space throughout the city. That's kind of been a minor side talking point at best. So that's really helpful to think about, because again, there is a lot of potential and a lot of opportunity in the ACAT area.
I'll just chime in very briefly too, just to
Yeah.
say that what we're hearing, and the large arts venue, and I shouldn't even call it an arts venue, but the large entertainment venue that's been discussed, I think will be a great opportunity for economic development and some different kinds of stuff that we do need in the city of Aurora. Working from arts programming, what we hear a lot about is rehearsal space and then smaller performance space, like what Tone is saying, because, for the groups we work with, they're doing performances for like, at the Fox, 250 seats, and having a hard time filling that. So really like spaces where it's maybe 200, 300, 400, 500 up to like 750. That's really kind of what we're missing, not just in the arts district, but in the city itself. So like for us, a 5,000, 2,000 seat venue doesn't support arts necessarily, but it really is good for economic development and other kinds of quality of life things that the city also needs. But yeah, we could really use a great upgrade to the Fox. I can let Tone, just probably kind of forgot our discussions about the Fox, but I'm happy to let him kind of talk a little bit about some upgrades we'd love to see there as well. Sorry, Tone, just helping prompt you. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. Thank you so much. Yes. So not only they use the People's Building, we also have the Fox there too, and would love to see upgrades to that facility as well. We there's a combination from what our the facilitator of the Purpose Aligned. So the facilitator, when she was doing the public input, the community input meetings that we had long-term Fox supporters attend, and they loved the Fox. They loved attending performances at the Fox, but that was their number one points of input, is that it would be great if the facilities were upgraded, chairs, what have you, and other updates in technology would help significantly.
Okay, thank you. That's super helpful,
Mhm.
just to think about broadening our scope. And I'm sure we'll get that feedback and more when we get the cultural arts plan draft next month. But it's still good to have that in mind as we're just having those planning discussions. So thank you. I really.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments for Tom? All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. Sorry, I just had a little WebEx menu pop up from the baby throwing things at my computer. But we really do appreciate your time, your feedback, and the work that you and the commission put in for the city. So thank you. And we look forward to hearing more. All right. And I found my missing agenda. So that is our last presentation. Are there any miscellaneous items for consideration? Apparently, Ellis would like us to consider a banana. Does anybody else have anything? Seeing none, we will move on to the planning of our next meeting, which is scheduled for August 23rd at 3:30 p.m. Does that work for everyone? Okay. Seeing no. Okay, awesome. Seeing no conflicts being raised, we'll go ahead and plan to have the meeting at that time. Thank you all for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you at Global Fest, at Pride, and then also again on the 23rd. So thank you for your attention, and have a great week. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.